You ever notice how some moments don't just arrive? They settle into your life like a quiet storm you never braced for. That's exactly how it felt when I found the postcard. I wasn't looking for it. Honestly, I was trying to outrun a feeling. That strange heaviness you get when life stops making sense but refuses to tell you why. And yet there it was. A faded rectangle of paper that seemed older than the air around it. The edges were curled. The ink looked like it had survived a lifetime of someone trying to forget it existed. But what truly froze me wasn't the age. It was what the image showed. A landscape drenched in colors I had never seen in the same sky at the same time. The vibrant crimson glow of something like autumn, the icy blue shimmer of something like winter, the golden haze of summer, and the soft green veil of spring. All stacked together, like nature had refused to pick a single mood. At the bottom, a simple caption, "Greetings from the long seasons." And suddenly, something inside me tightened. Not from fear, but recognition. As if some buried part of me whispered, "You've been here before." The world of long seasons. The postcard described a universe where each season didn't last months. They lasted decades. Imagine being born during a spring that had already been blooming for 7 years. Flowers opening so slowly that the act of watching one petal unfold could take an entire childhood. Parents telling their kids, "One day, when you're older, you'll see summer." And meaning it literally. In that world, the people grew up learning patience like it was oxygen. Summer wasn't just a temperature shift. It was a cultural event, something people prepared for their entire lives. Some generations even died before ever feeling another season, living their whole existence inside a single climate. The postcard S illustration showed towering green cities built to bend with the generous warmth of their 20-year summers. But far beyond them, painted with tiny strokes of hopeless beauty, were enormous, migrating caravans. Entire societies moving slowly across the land as the cold decades drew near. Their grandparents had told them stories of the last winter. They said the rivers froze so deeply that sound traveled differently, like every whisper carried the weight of a secret. They said shadows moved slower, breaths lingered longer, and that in year 14 of that winter, enormous crystalline shapes appeared in the sky, as if the atmosphere itself had begun to dream. As I stared at the postcard, the thought hit me. How do you plan a life when the world changes slower than you do? But the next line written on the back of the card felt like it was answering me directly. Don't be afraid of the long changes. They teach you who you really are. The migrants of autumn. Halfway through the postcard's story, something unexpected happened. There was a small smudge of ink, like someone's hand trembled mid-sentence. And underneath it, a note was written in smaller, rushed handwriting. People always think autumn is peaceful. Here, it's the dangerous one. It explained that in this universe, autumn lasted around 30 years. Leaves didn't fall lightly. They thickened, hardened, and drifted down in vast sheets that buried entire valleys. Tree trunks swelled with resin until forests became labyrinths of amber pillars. Animals migrated over generations, not seasons. And the people? They built autumn towers, tall wooden structures designed to rise above the endless sea of falling leaves. From up there, you could see the horizon shift colors like slow-moving fire. But that wasn't the surprising part. The surprising part was the little doodle someone drew under the note. A tiny, smiling figure holding an umbrella way too small for the colossal leaves drifting from the sky. Almost like they were trying to lighten the mood, just for a second, to remind whoever was reading the postcard. Hey, you're still here with me. Don't drift too far. And without being obvious about it, that unexpected softness pulled me closer, grounding me again. The winter that shaped everything. Then the postcard shifted tone, as if it knew exactly what question had formed in my mind. What happens during a winter that lasts 40 years? The answer wasn't terrifying. It was strangely beautiful. Entire cities would slow down in harmony, learning to breathe with the cold instead of resisting it. Children born during the first frost would grow up, carving little tunnels in snowbanks that never melted, turning them into glowing blue playgrounds. Artists sculpted ice temples so large and intricate that they became frozen histories, preserved longer than any written record. And somewhere in the middle of that icy stillness, people learned what warmth truly meant. The postcard described gatherings inside hearth halls, giant circular rooms where hundreds of families shared stories passed down from ancestors who'd survived previous winters. They didn't just cling to heat, they created it together. The message written on the bottom felt like a whisper that reached straight into my chest. Winter doesn't take your hope. It just teaches you where to find it. The spring of returning. After decades of cold, spring wasn't just a season, it was a rebirth. Imagine seeing the first patch of green after 38 years of white. Entire cities would stop working the moment the thaw began. People traveled for weeks just to witness the first flower open, a once-in-a-lifetime miracle for many. And the postcard described that flower in detail. A tall stem, glass-like petals, a glow faint enough to miss unless you stared long enough to feel time stretching around you. Locals called it the return bloom, a promise that every ending had been worth it. The final message. At the very bottom of the postcard, written so faintly that I had to tilt it toward the light, was one final line. If you ever feel lost, remember, even the longest season ends, and when it does, you'll be someone new. The moment I read it, something loosened inside me, like the universe wasn't scolding me for being overwhelmed. It was simply reminding me that change, even the slow kind, is still movement. And maybe that's why this postcard found me. Maybe that's why it found you. Because deep down, you've probably wondered too. How long will my winter last? Or, when will my spring finally begin? But the truth is, your next season might already be shifting, quietly, in ways you haven't noticed yet. And when it arrives, you'll understand why everything before it had to happen exactly the way it did. Before you go, if this story made you feel something, even the smallest spark, then don't leave yet. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like. Share this video with someone who needs a new season in their life. It helps more than you can imagine, and it lets me bring you more journeys like this one. Thanks for being here. Really.